It's going to be a doozy today. Yes, you read the title correctly. I was on the news for being transgender, or more so for having to use the restroom while I was at school as a teenager. God forbid, right? Hello everybody, this video was a long time coming. How are all of you? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Victoria Rose. I'm a 24-year-old woman of transgender experience, and here on this channel, we talk about everything from femininity content to reaction videos to deep, wild personal story times like this one. All right. Anyone who is watching this inevitably from my old high school, hi, you knew this video was coming. I had held off on making this video for a while because I felt like I had to be in the right mindset. I felt like I had to do a really serious sit down video and be like, okay, this is what happened to me. But now that I think about it, why was I giving any of those people power? The story doesn't affect me the way that it did back then, and actually I'm really proud of how it turned out. There were some really rotten people and rotten scenarios that happened in this story, but there were also some really wonderful ones, so I really want to acknowledge them. But it really blows my mind that my mere existence as a teenager, I was 15 during this main story time, that as a teenager, my very existence, my just wanting to use the facilities like any other student was enough for the local news to come busting through my high school walls, busting like a Kool-Aid man through those paper thin walls. And trust me, the news coverage was kind of the end of the story. There was so much BS that led up to this. This is a crazy story time from top to bottom. This is something that I experienced almost like 10 years ago now. So I'm gonna share my story with you. We're gonna react to the news coverage, and I'm also going to read off some Reddit threads all about the situation that I just saw. So grab a drink, grab a snack, and strap in. And before we dive into this story time, I have a word from our wonderful sponsors over at Catch Beauty. Y'all didn't think I was gonna share my trauma and not have it be monetized, right? Right? Okay, let's watch the ad. Hi there. If you know me, if you've been following me for a while, then you would know that body hair removal and permanent body hair removal has been a huge roadblock in my transition. For years, I had to shave my arms, my legs every single day if I wanted a smooth result, and I had already spent thousands of dollars hand over fist at salon and electrolysis lasers on my face and my bikini, so I was just not interested in spending that money on my whole body. So I did some research, and that is when I found Catch Beauty's at-home IPL laser hair removal device. This laser is my top recommended method of permanent hair removal and permanent hair reduction. Like I said, used to have to shave my arms like every single day, and you can see here I have no hairs. The ones that I do are like blonde hairs that wouldn't be picked up anyway. With our IPL handset, you can get salon quality results at home for a fraction of the price. Also, it's in the comfort of your own home, and you can use it anywhere on your entire body. Instead of booking a section for your calf and then your thigh and then your tummy and then your chest, girl, you would be in a salon for years. On top of their incredible products, I really love what Catch Beauty stands for. They have been supporting the trans community since day one, providing us with resources. Catch Beauty wants to help us through even the hairiest parts of our transition. So whether you are trans, not trans, man, woman, somewhere in between, if you want permanent hair removal and permanent hair reduction, I highly recommend you click the link in my description box down below, check out the Catch Beauty at-home IPL laser hair removal device, and use code ROSE to get money off your order. Thank you so much to Catch Beauty for sponsoring this portion of today's video, and without further ado, let's talk about when I was on the news for being transgender. All right, the year was 2014. I transitioned in late 2012, like early 2013. So I was a year into my transition. I also graduated in 2015 from high school. I graduated a year early. So when this happened in 2014, I was a sophomore. I grew up in a small farming town. My school was literally in the middle of a turf field. My elementary school had to be closed because cows got loose in the school. So as you can imagine, it wasn't the most liberal school. So yes, of course, I was like severely bullied for being trans, being queer, being feminine, whatever. This isn't even really about that. Like, I got spit on, I had trash thrown at me. There was a school-endorsed, student-made, but school-endorsed scavenger hunt where one of the items on the list was get a picture with the tranny. So people were coming up to me and I was like, it's finally my fucking moment. But no, they were taking pictures of me because it was on the scavenger hunt, which, like, go off. I'm sure I looked bomb at those photos. You might be wondering, Victoria, why would the principal of the school not get involved in your bullying? Well, let me tell you, we're gonna call her Lauren because I only ever called her by her first name. Okay, so rewind, a transition. Of course, there was a lot of friction in the school about it, and I didn't feel comfortable using the men's room because I looked exactly how I do now, minus these. Like, I wore makeup, I had hair extensions. This is all me now, but I had long hair extensions. I dressed the same way I do. I looked the way I do. So obviously I wasn't gonna go into the men's bathroom and get assaulted. And especially early on in my transition, I was just so afraid of ruffling too many feathers. So I went to go see the school psychologist, or I had been seeing the school psychologist. Let's get that clear. And I told her about my dilemma, and she was like, well, I can just write you a pass to be able to use the staff bathrooms. And I was like, work? Because there was like 1 or 2 staff bathrooms in pretty much like every hallway. But you know, girls, like, there's such a girl culture of going to the bathroom with each other, just going to, like, before school started or between classes or something, and like fix your hair. You're walking in the hallway with your friends and she's like, oh, I have to pee, like, come with me. But I couldn't do that. And they would always just be like, just come in. No, like, no one cares. Like, just come in. And I'd be like, no, like, I shouldn't do that. I can't do that. I'm like afraid. And at this point, no one had talked to me about that. Like, no one had said you can't, but this is like right at the beginning of the whole trans bathroom discussion. This is before Caitlyn Jenner. This is before Laverne Cox was on the cover of Times, I believe. Like, this really, it was right before the tipping point. So at this point, I still was not using the girls' restroom, but I got called to the principal's office because some hall monitors had a problem that I was using the staff bathroom. I showed the principal the written laminated card that I had that said I was allowed to use the staff bathrooms from the psychologist, and she said no. She said I absolutely could not use the staff bathroom, that I had to use the nurse's bathroom. Now, the nurse's bathroom, of course, is located in the nurse's office, which is in one single part of the school. So if I am at one end of the school, I now had to walk the entire perimeter of the school to get to the nurse's restroom. And oftentimes people would be, I don't know, throwing up or just in the nurse's bathroom in general, and I had to sit and wait. So I was missing so much class time. It was just completely, like, I couldn't even use the restroom. Also, I'd only change for gym in the nurse's restroom, so I was always late for gym, but also I never brought clothes anyway, so. After months of walking the perimeter of the school and missing so much class time and just being so inconvenienced, and all of my friends being like, just go to the girls' room, like, we don't care. And then girls being like, no one get, like, just go. I finally decided I was just gonna use the girls' bathroom. Shortly after using the girls' restroom, I realized public bathrooms are a place where you go, you privately do your business in a stall, and then wash your hands and leave. Crazy, right? From the way the media talks about it, you'd think that people are walking around naked. So I'd been very timidly using the girls' restroom for a while, and I really wanted to make sure that no one was feeling any type of way about it. In fact, I remember distinctly, I was in geometry class and I had like a group of people sitting around me, and there was this one girl, we'll call her Ashley. Now, Ashley's family and my family had known each other for quite a while, and they definitely had our contact information, vice versa. The parents knew each other, the kids knew each other. You know what I'm saying? So remember that. But I asked Ashley how she felt about it, and she was like, honestly, like, who cares? Like, you're using the bathroom and leaving, like, it doesn't matter at all. And I was like, work. So I called the principal's office, and I just kind of have a feeling I already know what it's going to be about, because she had an issue with me using the staff bathroom, so why would she be okay with me using the girls' bathroom? But she calls me in and she goes, Victoria, it's come to my attention that you've been using the girls' restroom. And I said, yes, I have been. And she goes, you absolutely cannot use the girls' bathroom. And I said, well, I can't use the staff bathrooms now either. I've explained the situation. I said, you know, I'm missing a lot of class time and walking all the way around, and no one seems to have a problem with it. So I'm a girl and I use the girls' bathroom. And she leans in and she goes, let me ask you this. Do you have a penis? My jaw hit the floor. My jaw hit the, mind you, I'm 14. This is a grown woman asking her 14-year-old student about their genitalia privately in a closed office, just the two of us. Excuse me? So that's exactly what I said. I was so taken aback, and I said, excuse me? And she goes, well, see, that's the problem. And I interrupted her and I said, what's in between my legs, or anybody else's legs for that matter, is none of your business. Looking back, it is astounding that I didn't whap that school with a lawsuit like that. So she put her foot down and said that I absolutely could not use the women's restroom. And I was devastated at first. I was so heartbroken. I was like, well, okay, the world just thinks I'm a man and I'll never be able to use the girls' bathroom and I'm not like my friends and I'm not, you know, whatever. And I was just spiraling and I felt so bad, but I talked to my parents about it and they go, huh? Like, she said you can't use the bathroom? And I said yes. And they go, no, 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 no. And so the ball got rolling, bitch. And keep in mind, yes, there were a lot of bigoted people in this school, especially at the time, both students and staff. There were some people that were really hard fast by my side. Like I said, all of the girls that I knew of were very much, they just didn't care that I was in the bathroom because it didn't affect them at all. But some of the teachers were really wonderful and on my side. I want to say their names in this, but I don't know if that's gonna get them in trouble, so I'm not gonna say anything. But there was this one teacher who was so sweet and she was like, fuck that, like, why? She's not letting you use the bathroom? That's ridiculous. So she connected me with another teacher, a higher up staff member. And we're gonna call him Mr. Davis. Okay, we're gonna call him Mr. Davis. Now, like I said, Mr. Davis was a higher up and he also knew quite a bit about law. Mr. Davis was like a father figure to me in high school. He protected me. He stood up for me in a way that I would have never stood up for myself. I knew, and I always tell you guys in videos, if you are younger, if you're in school, whatever, and someone's bullying you, someone's giving you a hard time, go and snitch on them immediately. Who cares? That's not snitching, that's standing up for yourself. If someone did anything to me, including this principal, if anyone did some fuck shit to me, I would go straight to his office. I would go straight to his office and tell him and he would help me immediately. Now let me tell you, this man was also intimidating. A lot of people did not like him because he's very tough, but he's such a sweet person. I really couldn't say thank you enough to him. But I go to his office, I explain the whole situation and he was like, that doesn't exactly sound legal. And especially her asking you about down there does not seem legal. He advised me to continue using the nurse's bathroom until all of this is settled. I did occasionally use the girls' bathroom. At least multiple times a week, I would go into his office and we would talk about things and figure out, he'd be like, you know, after work, I went home and I researched this law thing to see how I can help you. He really went so above and beyond. In addition to Mr. Davis helping me so much with this whole situation, my parents stood by me like a rock. One thing I will always say about my parents is they don't let anyone fuck with their kids. They certainly do not. So I was really lucky to have their back on this, and they called the local LGBT center. It was at that center that I met someone that really helped me so much, and she connected me and my family with attorneys from GLAAD. Now GLAAD is the Gay Lesbian Advocate something defense. So essentially a whole bunch of lawyers. Now, I won't bore you with too much of the minutia of the day-to-day because this went on for a few months of trying to find out exactly how everything was and stated in the law. And finally, my parents schedule yet another meeting with Lauren, the principal. And this one, we are prepared, bitch. We are prepared for everyone. Oh, actually, let me tell you this. Before this meeting, I was in a meeting with my two parents, Lauren and the vice principal. And we sit down, I say, okay, are we recording this? And they were like, no, so like, this is just, you know, an informal between us, whatever. That year, we all got MacBooks for our school. And I know the sound of photo booth recording. It goes, doo, doo, doo. And that goes off right after she said that. From the vice principal's computer. So you're a vice principal, you don't know how to mute your computer. Anyway, for our final meeting, my parents set this one up. We have a conference call. Again, this is during school hours, so I've missed so much class time just trying to use the bathroom. We sit down, it's my two parents, it's me, the vice principal, and the principal. And we go, we want to make a call really quick. We call two attorneys from GLAAD on a conference call. We put them down and basically they read them. Essentially, they said, if this girl cannot use the women's bathroom and the women's locker room, which I didn't even ask for in the first place, if you don't let this student do this, we are going to file a lawsuit against the school and you. The way that they snapped into action And she was like, oh my God, I have no problem with you using the girls' bathroom. Of course you can use it. And after that, she let me use the girls' bathroom. So here's where the news comes in. So I had been using the girls' bathroom for probably like a week, 2-3 weeks or something like that. And no one voiced any negative opinions to me. Everyone was very positive. I mean, of course, there were a couple like hick guys that said some stuff, but like, girl, did you want me in your bathroom? So yeah, there were really no issues. And one night I'm, you know, eating dinner with my family and they get a call on the home phone from the superintendent. He calls and he says, hi, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so. This is Mr. So-and-so. And I just wanted to let you know that we are going to be having NBC News come to our school and record something about your daughter going to the women's restroom. And I said, hello? They said, huh? They said, who? So what happened was, do you remember at the beginning of this video, I said something about this girl, Ashley or Alexis, whatever her fake name was, and her family, knowing my family and whatever, and she was very supportive of me and all of that. So apparently, she had an issue with being used in the women's restroom, did not talk to me about it, went to her father. He, instead of talking to us like a grown man, decided to call the news. Decided to call NBC News on a 14-year-old girl. And the news did not contact us, by the way. They went to the superintendent and the superintendent went to my parents and were like, just so you know, they are going to be here. There's nothing I can do about it. They want to record your daughter, but that's up to you because she's a minor. And of course they said no. Because what, on the local news, on the local NBC News, you want to put my face and my name and where I go to school? Like, in a pretty close-minded area, yeah, we're good. We're good. So he was like, just so you know, there will probably be cameras at the school. And I was like, work. And so the next day, funny enough, I'm actually in my geometry class and I'm pretty sure that that girl wasn't in school that day. Really funny how she wasn't in school that day. But we see through like the classroom windows that the NBC fans pull up and they're like coming into the school with the cameras, whatever. And people are like, what's going on? Like, what is that for? And I just go, it's for me. And they kind of laughed that I was not kidding. I was like, no, it's for me. Because I was going around telling people, because again, I was just trying to pee. I was just trying to pee. Like, I wasn't trying to be like, it's all for me. Like, it was almost shameful that I had to even talk about this. So they come in, they film, and this was the news special.
Battle over bathrooms. Our Rhode Island school is taking steps to accommodate transgender students, but it is causing some controversy, and it's a situation that may affect your school district next. NBC10's Olivia Fecto is live in the newsroom now with new information. Olivia?
Well, Dan, a parent in the Chariho School District reached out to NBC10 saying his daughter felt uncomfortable using the school restroom because a transgender student who identifies as a girl is allowed to use that same bathroom. Today, I spoke to the superintendent about this situation to find out how the school is choosing to handle it.
Are transsexual kids legally allowed in the girls' bathroom if a guy is changing to a girl? He hasn't gotten surgery yet.
That's the text message Glenn Josephides got from his daughter, who's a sophomore at Chariho High School. He took her concerns to the school district, asking why a transgender student was allowed to use the girls' room.
Instead of allowing this student to make my daughter and many others, I'm sure, uncomfortable.
NBC10 went to Chariho Superintendent Barry Ritchie to get the school's answer.
We begin every day of the school year by telling the students at the high school to remember to treat each other with dignity and respect.
Ritchie says the district consulted with the state education commissioner and an attorney to figure out how to move forward. Under Rhode Island law, discrimination based on gender identity is illegal. Ritchie says based on that, the solution was clear. The student who identifies as a female is entitled to use the girls' bathroom.
We're not naive to think that everyone is going to be totally accepting of this.
To make that situation easier, the school has set up a unisex single-stall bathroom at the high school, one that any student is welcome to use if he or she feels uncomfortable. Josephides says he's not happy with the solution.
Not understanding the logic of taking one child or one person's situation and placing their needs or their feelings or their concerns over 1,200 others.
This is not about imposing anything. This is about not discriminating and treating everyone equally.
We wanted to know if Chariho's decision will hold true for all schools in Rhode Island. The state education department tells us a transgender student is entitled to use the bathroom of the gender with which he or she identifies. Though this isn't an official state policy, this is how other districts in the state are expected to handle the same situation. Live in the newsroom, Olivia Fecto, NBC10 News.
So that was the news clip that was all about me. Any faces or names or anything that was discussed in that clip is public access, so I'm not going to be blurring anything. I will remind you that in the clip, the man that was talking from my school was the superintendent at the time. He has unfortunately passed away, rest in peace. But that man really set that in stone, that after that came out, I never once worried about using the women's restroom ever again, because he was like, if you don't like it, you can go to the non-sex bathroom. If you don't like it, you can go to the unisex bathroom. And that was like groundbreaking. My family and I were cackling. We're like, okay, so she doesn't like that, then she can go use a single stall bathroom, because we're not gonna discriminate against the basis of sex. Like, what? No, I've said before that I set legal precedents in Rhode Island for this whole fiasco. What I mean by that is there were already laws in place in Rhode Island for the Board of Education for not discriminating against basis of sex. However, at every other school in Rhode Island, trans people were not allowed to use the correct facilities. They were just told from staff to not use that bathroom, or to use staff bathrooms, or to use nurses' bathrooms. And I am so beyond lucky to be the person that set that in stone, and so many other schools followed suit. There have been parents from other schools in Rhode Island that have told me that because of that happening, their child was allowed to use the correct facility. And I'm really happy that I was able to blaze that trail for those kids. But I always say, like, I never wanted to have to blaze a trail. Like, I just wanted to go pee. I'm really happy that stop. I'm really happy that I was able to do that for myself and for other people. And it's one of my proudest moments, you know. As a child, I was able to stand up for myself and accept help from adults. The fact that the whole school went up in flames because I wanted to use the bathroom. Thankfully, now it's 2023 and we live in a much better and safer world than we did then. There are so many more steps to be made. There are so many more improvements for the safety and acceptance and integration of queer people in society. And from that moment onward, I never used anything other than a women's bathroom ever again. And as for the principal, don't worry. She's not the principal at school anymore. She was actually promoted. So, you know, sounds like the school system's doing great. I haven't looked this whole story up in a long time. In fact, it was actually kind of hard to find this YouTube clip that I had in here of the news. But while I was looking it up, I found a thing on Reddit about it, and I was like, let me just see what they have to say about this. Okay, so this post is under r/Rhode Island, and it says, transgender Chariho High School student allowed to use girls' bathroom, parents and students uncomfortable with school's decision. It has 27 upvotes and 11 comments, so let's dive into those comments. This says, let them be uncomfortable, 100%, 34 upvotes. Responding is Lieutenant Rand saying, seriously, I like to imagine this headline a few decades ago. Black Chariho High School student allowed to use integrated girls' bathroom, parents and students uncomfortable with school's decision. Slay! Obviously, the trans experience and the person of color in general experience is completely different, and I can't relate to that. But me not being allowed to use the bathroom, I was like, can I just pee? Like, I wonder if looking back years from now, we're gonna see this and be like, why was this ever an issue? It looks like this person responded with pretty much what I just said, and it said, not everything in this world is precisely equivalent to racial discrimination. Trying to reduce everything to this world to the equivalent of racial discrimination is lazy argumentation. This responds to a comment that said, so tell me, how is it the same? Obviously, again, we know that it is not the same as racial discrimination, just a different kind of discrimination. But this person responded and said, both are protected classes under Rhode Island law. How about if these second-class facilities were not second class? Would that be okay then? Matching anatomy, are you going to have bathroom monitors checking the genitalia of conforming characteristics? What about men involved in industrial accidents leading to castration? Off to the ladies' room with you then. What? You're a man? Doesn't matter that you think that yourself of a man. The PP checker says you're a no-go. hermaphrodite, you say? The proper word is intersex, but you don't conform either, and both groups are generally not approving, so go shit in the woods. Hey, there's a guy in a closed bathroom stall and I can't see what's going on in there, but he might be peeing sitting down. Call the cops! That's exactly correct! I love this guy. This is using a quote that says, not understanding the logic of taking one child or one person's situation and placing their needs or their feelings or their concerns over 1,200 others. I'm not quite sure he has as much support as he thinks he does. It says, I would prefer this transgender girl over most of the dirty little creeps that use the public bathrooms. I've seen some nasty public bathrooms here in Rhode Island. 100%! Like, there are some creeps in bathrooms of all genders, honey. And the last comment that I'm going to read from this feed is, the girl in this article is a friend of mine. She's actually like so sweet and so kind and couldn't hurt a fly. Why the actual fuck doesn't matter what bathroom she uses. I'm really glad that the school stands up for her and stuff. That's actually awesome. True. But god damn it, why? Why do people have to treat her like shit just because she's being herself? Oh, society, thou art a heartless bitch. It is really wonderful to see now, years later, that at the time that that was posted and the whole news thing went on, there were discussions being had in support of me. That makes me feel great. So the moral of the story is really to never give up. If I had just been okay with using the nurse's bathroom all the time and just went with whatever the principal Lauren said, then I would have never set that precedent for kids in the future. I would have never had this story to tell all of you. I would have never have built up the confidence as a young person to then continue to stand up for myself in the rest of my life. So while I wish I had never had to blaze that trail, I am so thankful that I did, and I am so thankful to the students and the staff and the attorneys and everybody that supported me in my journey. That is going to be all from me today. I really hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. It helps me out so much. And if you want someone to see it, please make sure you share it. If you are from my old school or whatever else, please go ahead and share this, because y'all knew this video was coming. It was coming for a long time. If you are not already, please make sure you subscribe down below so that you can join the family and never miss out on a new upload. And also make sure you check out my Instagram and TikTok. I am way more active on there. You are all amazing. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. And until I see you next week, good luck. I love you. Bye.